Hello everyone. In this lesson, we are going to look into the implementation of EIGRP for IP version 6. It is basically the same except for a few changes. The configuration and operation is similar to between EIGRP IP version 4 and EIGRP IP version 6. They have the same protocol number, maintains topology table, and queries if no feasible successors are available. It also uses dual to calculate the successor routes. So this is a table comparing between EIGRP for IP version 4 and EIGRP for IP version 6. Now if you look here, most, if not all of it, are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, all of these are the same except for the fact that this one uses IP version 4 address or networks and this one uses IP version 6. And this one uses a different multicast address and this one uses an IP version 6 multicast address. Other than that, they are the same. So whatever you have learned before, you can apply it for IP version 6 with a slight twist, if you may. For EIGRP version 6, messages are sent using the source IP version 6 address, which is the link local address of the exit interface, and the destination IP version 6 address is the multicast address used FF02::8. This is the multicast address used to send packet to update. If the packet can be sent as a unicast address, it is sent to the link local address of the neighboring router. First, you have to configure IP version 6. Of course, you have to configure the IP addresses on all of the different interfaces. So here, when you configure a link local address for everyone, they would have the same link local address. So this interface would have IP version 6 address, and then you give it an address and say this is link local. So all of this would have the same link local address and do the same thing to the other routers as well. Once you have set the IP addresses and link local addresses, you now want to configure the EIGRP for IP version 6. The first thing you need to do is to enable IP version 6 routing on that particular router. To do that, you use the command IP version 6 unicast routing. This will enable IP version 6 routing on router 2. Okay, and you have to do that for all the different routers. Once you go in there, you want to use IP version 6 router EIGRP autonomous system, and then here the autonomous system number is 2, to go into the IP version 6 router configuration mode. And then you can set the router ID here. This works exactly the same as the one discussed before in IP version 4. Okay. By default, the EIGRP of IP version 6 process is in a shutdown state, and the no shutdown command is required to activate the EIGRP for IP version 6. By default, routers will expect to run IP version 4. So if you want it to run IP version 6, you have to enable the routing as well as you have to activate it with a no shutdown. EIGRP for IP version 4 uses the network command. EIGRP for IP version 6 do not use that. Instead, it is configured directly to the interface. So here you would see interface G00, and then within that interface configuration, you type IP version 6 EIGRP 2. Remember, the autonomous system must be the same on all the routers that are communicating. Okay, and then you go exit, go to another interface, and every interface that is using this, you have to configure it on each interface, and you have to do that for all the routers. Okay, you can also set a passive interface, and you do that the same way you do in IP version 4. You go into router configuration and type passive interface, and whichever interface you want to make passive. You can also check that whatever you have done is correct by using the show IP version 6 protocols, and you will see whether or not the passive interface is there. Verifying EIGRP for IP version 6 is the same as IP version 4. you use the command show IP version 6 EIGRP neighbors. It will tell you who your neighbors are, how did you learn about your neighbors, how long they have been your neighbors, okay, how long before you want another reconfirmation from your neighbors. It's definitely like IP version 4, except for the fact you have to add IP version 6 on it. If you use show IP version 6 protocols, you can get to see that the running protocol is EIGRP version 6 and it is running on autonomous system 2, and then you would see the weight of the metrics, what is on and what is off. In this case, the normal default is on, bandwidth, delay, and then you can see the router ID, you can see the administrative distance, and you can see the interfaces enabled for EIGRP. Another way is to use show IP version 6 route to show the routing table. Here you would see there is 1, 2, 3 routes learned via EIGRP version 6. You would have the network, the administrative distance, the feasible distance, and then how did it learn it from, and then there's exit interface. And that, in short, is the implementation of EIGRP for IP version 6. As you have seen, it is basically the same except for a little tweak here and there. So know the difference, and I'll see you in the next lesson.